In this video, why has this puddle appeared? And other fun questions here on Hubnut. I was meant to be working on my Invercar today. I had hoped to get this finished, but the MOT is due on the GSA this week. That's its annual safety test, and it ain't going to pass if it's puking what I think is hydraulic fluid. Yeah, that is the green tinge of LHM. So maybe the repair that was done to the height corrector has gone awry. Up goes the back. Great getaway car this. And then the front must surely follow. There we go. So the hydraulics are still working. I've got no low fluid warnings on the dashboard. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a job for the old kitty litter. So I've now got the suspension set on maximum height. And see if we can find out what's going on in here. Yeah, I can see, I think where it's coming from. I think it's the problem we had before with the height corrector. The height corrector is under that box. That's certainly where all the dripping is coming from. You can see my steering rack gaiter has come off as well. That's marvellous. That's a fail. Jack her up, get this wheel off, and we'll have a proper look. Now that'll be the problem. This pipe has just split again. It's already been shortened once, so it's just a rubber, bit of flexible rubber pipe that joins the plastic pipe to the height corrector. So this is the height corrector. As the anti-roll bar moves with the suspension up and down, this tells it what height it's at. It can adjust the pressure accordingly. Naturally, we've got an axle stand and a trolley jack under here. You never work on a Citroen that's raised only on the suspension. Let's see if I can get that bit of rubber pipe off. Well, how today was meant to pan out. Tuck's looking very grumpy now because she's not getting the attention she thinks she deserves. This pipe's had it, absolutely. Right, let's go and see if I can find anything suitable to replace that. Yeah, it's absolutely shot. I hope I can, because otherwise I've just immobilised the car. Well, there we go. It's amazing what I've got in my pile of absolute rubbish. This is a strut return for a Citroen BX. That one looks like a slightly narrower bore, but it seems to fit quite nicely. So I think all this is surplus to requirements. All I want is a slice of that. And it's a shame because that could be used on a BX, but I don't own a BX. I do have a stranded hydraulic GSA on my driveway, so I'm going to cut that bit of pipe off and replace this utterly knackered bit with that. This has the benefit, of course, of being LHM friendly, because BXs also use LHM, which is liquid wheel mineral. It's a green mineral oil. It's the lifeblood of these Citroens, and also the 2CV. The disc brake 2CVs also use LHM. Far better than DOT4 in many ways. It's not hydroscopic, so it doesn't absorb water. It doesn't really seem to go off particularly, which is obviously a massive benefit. You don't rot your pipes out. It's better for your brakes. So yeah, I'm a big fan of LHM. I'm going to cut the section of pipe and we'll see if we can get this done. So there we go. Cable tie on here, bit of BX pipe as a sort of in-betweener. I haven't done these too tight because I think the low return side, these pipes are generally pushed on, and if they pop off, there's generally a reason for it. Either they've split horribly, like this one had, or there's a problem in the hydraulic system, and it kind of acts as a safety valve, and it'll blast LHM out, and you kind of know there's a problem. So that's sort of fiendishly complicated, but all this mechanism is why you never work on a Citroen that's a hydraulic Citroen that isn't propped. You never get under one, because you could just knock this and it would change the car's suspension height. I think this is the control lever here, possibly. I'm not sure. I'm not going to meddle, but I've just noticed a bit of surface rust in places. here and there, so I think I'm going to get the wax out while we're in here, give the wheel arch a good going over, and then we'll put the cover back on, which is fun in itself because that's meant to be a captive nut, and yet it isn't. All fun. Well, there we go. I've blasted wax all over the place, and now I'm cleaning the wax off my glasses because I always forget to take my glasses off. But I use Built Hamber's anti-corrosion wax. Comes in nice big cans, so I sprayed that all in there and slightly on my face, and yeah, I now feel a bit better about things. So I think we got the leaks sorted. Won't really know until we drop the car down again, but I think it should be all right. And I'm pretty sure it was just that degrading hose rather than anything more sinister. So we shall get this cover back on, and then we can drop the car down, and then I might actually be able to start on the Invacar, but you'll see that in a separate video. I was just about to jack her back up again, and I remembered we got this sodding thing. So what should happen in theory is these clips go into the or over the end of the steering rack, which is buried in there, and this rubber ring then squashes them to hold it in place. But as you can see, the rubber ring is somewhat past its best, and I have got a cable tie that was trying to do the same job. That appears to have come off, so I'm going to have to see if I can get it on. Of course, my axle stand and jack are right where I need to be working, really. So I'm going to fiddle with this. I can't film it because it's practically invisible anyway. It all goes off in here. The gator does go through the front subframe, but let's see if we can get this done. Well, that made a really satisfying clicking noise that I wish I had caught on camera. Nonetheless, the gator is back in. So if I jack up off the stand, get the axle stand out, we can now answer another question. This one's inspired by the Citroen DS video that I drove on 3 wheels, and a few people have asked, can it do the same trick on the front? Now the GS and GSA can do the 3-wheel trick. I plan to film that if I can find somewhere to film it. I want to drive quite quickly on 3 wheels, and I can't find anywhere to do that, but let's see what happens. I might start the engine, give her a fair chance. That reminds me, there is an exhaust blow under here somewhere a bit. Hopefully that'll be alright for the test. So, can she do it? Place bets now. Now I'm going to stop there because my sill's about to hit the jack, but I think we can safely say that that's a negative. You can't take the front wheel off a hydraulic Citroen and drive it. Of course, there are 2 reasons why that isn't a thing. The other one is if I put this car in gear, that wheel will just go round and the other one won't, because this is the path of least resistance. So there are 2 reasons why you can't drive a hydraulic Citroen on 3 wheels with a front wheel removed. And I get that wheel back on because I'm starting to feel scared. Oh, there's a washer in there. Always good to have spare washers. I did actually replace that. I upgraded that washer to a thicker one. Try and stop it pulling through the little metal plate to which it was attached. Give it a quick on the jack tighten before we do a final one on the ground. What is quite interesting is when I jack this side up to get this wheel off, so stiff is the car that it lifts the wheel on the other side. So I'll just go up a bit higher because I had gone a bit higher. In fact, we're now rocking. I can lift this back corner clear off the ground. That's the magic of the stiff hydro pneumatic suspension. But yeah, I think this side, yeah, that's also off the ground. So there you go, something interesting for you. And now we'll see if she'll trap the jack. With the suspension on high, she shouldn't trap the jack, so she should still be stiff. And there we go, I can withdraw the jack. If I was on a lower suspension setting, chances are she'd sit on the jack. Right, so what I'm going to do now is drop the suspension back down to normal height. Ooh. And push the choke in. So down she comes. At some point, come on girl, down you come. There we go. And hopefully no more leaky. Because that's when those returns show. It's when the car sits back down again and it pushes all that extra LHM back to the tank. So I think we'll just check the level just to make sure it hasn't dropped too much. Some debate about where the correct level is. I got it wrong last time apparently. Oh, we want it back on height, full height for the level check. My fault. Oh, it's good to do a bit of Citrobics anyway. Yeah, I think we're alright for LHM. Now, I've entirely forgotten which of the discs is meant to be between these two. Is it the bottom disc or is it the top disc? I can't remember, but they're both there or thereabouts, so I'm going to say we're okay for LHM. So that's good times. I was just doing pre-MOT checks on lights and I forgot this headlamp's out. I went to film a TikTok the other day. Yes, TikTok, and noticed that one was out and then forgot to do anything about it. How difficult is it to change a headlamp bulb on a Citroen GSA? Well, you do that. If we ping that, ping, and then ping that, ping, that should be bulb out. There we go. H4s. I think I've got some H4s. So let's go and see if I can find some. Let's see if I'm organised enough to have them in my electrical drawer. No. The chap who sent us some Daihatsu bulbs will be amused to know that a bulb has gone on the Daihatsu and I now can't find the bulbs. Oh, here we go. Look at that. That would look like a H4, I think. Oh, HB12. Oh. Is that more fitting a 2CV? It might be the same type. Let's have a look. I mean, that looks pretty similar to me. I hadn't noticed in driving because I don't generally drive the GSA at night. Oh yeah, we've got a little tab down there at the bottom to line it up with. Clip, clip, turn on lights, rotating that dial thusly, and still no headlamp. Oh, I didn't put wire in, you idiot. Voila! Aren't old headlamps beautiful? So that's another job done. That was nice and easy. Why can't cars be that simple anymore? Amazing. Well, there we go. I wasn't aiming to have 2 GSA videos this week, but nonetheless we've had one. I've gone round and tightened up the nuts both sides, so they're all good. People often tend to ask if I double check. I do. We've got the lights working, so now we're ready for the MOT later this week. I hope I've done something to allay fears as well. People are terrified of these cars and think that if you see a hydraulic puddle, it's an absolute disaster. It very often isn't. This goes for BXs as well, CXs. Quite often those little return pipes, just the rubber or the plastic degrades and they can spring a leak. If you've got a major high pressure leak, you know about it. It tends to mist out the LHM. I had one on a 305,000 mile BX estate once and that wasn't a good time, but I still managed to drive it far enough away from home to get recovered because I didn't have home start recovery. Left a slight green trail through the village, but never mind. But there we go. Yes, and you may also note she's very clean. I didn't dare take her home last night because she's so clean and I don't want to get her dirty again. Very much not my sort of car at all. I'm now petrified to use it, but we'll move her out of the way and I can crack on with what I was meant to be doing today, which is getting the Invercar back out again, because it's a lovely day and the fact the window's missing doesn't matter. So thank you very much for watching. I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.